Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. I'm Maxime. Unfortunately, you cannot see me. I am this guy here, but I have an issue with my camera, so very sorry for that. You are not missing something great, don't worry. Today we will discuss about the France invoicing mandate. And so this reform, this upcoming French mandate brings up a lot of questions, and especially if you are outside of France, and I know a lot of you are abroad for me, but I'm the business development director for France at Storecove, and here with me I have Lucien, which is an independent consultant on the French reform. He has been working many years for the French authorities, and now is an independent consultant, and he's specialized in the French reform. But on top of that, he works cross-border, so a lot of value. He will bring a lot of value to you today. So just a quick introduction about Storecove. Some of you already know this, but for the others, we are a global invoicing infrastructure provider that we connect software platforms to tax authorities worldwide, or at least in more than 32 countries. And what differentiates us from most providers is our approach. So we are entirely API first, and so built specially for software developers and platforms. So we act as an invisible connectivity layer, if you want. So this means that you don't have to rebuild your system or build a unique integration for every single country. You just pass us the raw data, and we handle the formatting, the transmission, the compliance, etc. So, but for that last mile, let's say, to work perfectly, we need to make sure. Sorry, I just go ahead with the slides. You need to make sure that the data is correct, and that you understand this complex French reform for some aspect. So that's how we will break down the webinar. Lucien will talk about the French model, explain the difference between invoicing, e-reporting, and show what you need. And then after Lucien, I will tell you a bit about how Storecove can help you build a robust invoicing infrastructure for France, but not only. And then we will have a time for question and answers. So just before handing over to Lucien, we are officially a PA in France, so we can basically operate on the French market. Lucien?
Yes.
Your turn.
First of all, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Very happy to present with Maxime this French reform and how it works, and to go in some details. First, an introduction, of course. We are now in a reform which concerns all the companies. First of all, each companies, large and medium size and small, have to prepare and to choose a PA, an accredited platform. That is the first idea, and that is now in France the main subject, choosing a PA. So we hope all that you will choose Storecove, of course. And we have two, if you want, we have two steps in this reform. First, each companies of course, will start this year with the reception. So everybody has to be able to have a platform to receive his invoice. Okay, but for the issuing the invoice, September of this year, 26, are only concerned the large company and what you call the ETI. The ETI is intermediate companies. Okay, so we can go next slide.
Okay, sorry. Up.
What kind of model are we here in France? So we are in a pure 5 corner model. As you see, at the beginning of the reform, it was an hybrid model because you had what we call the PPF, which was the Portail Public de Facturation, the French portal. In the beginning, they thought that it could act as a platform, free for everybody. But now it has changed. It has slipped to really a pure 5 corner model with, of course, the core position of the here is written the PDPs. PDPs is the word for PA, the former name of the PA. They decided also, the tax authority decided to change name from PDP, which means a platform dématérialisation partenaire. It means something like a partner platform, partner of the public platform. But now they have chosen the term accredited, in French, agréé, PA. Okay, so you see also that we are using the PEPL network, of course, because we need a large interoperability. And in fact, the tax authority decided also to switch to an interoperability with the main possibility, because most of the large majority of the PAs are in fact PEPL access point. So the PEPL network is really the way to have a full interoperability. Next slide. Yeah, okay. Here we come to a concept which is specificity in France, because in France it's not only a e-invoicing reform, mandatory e-invoicing, digitalization of e-invoicing, it's also CTC reform. It means transaction like B2B, international, or B2B, B2C are also subject to reporting. So it's a CTC model also. So you have on one hand, you have the e-invoicing. The e-invoicing perimeter, in short, is the domestic French market. And on the other hand, you have also this volunteer to have more than that. Why? Because in fact, the idea is that they want to create a fulfilling of the VAT return. And if you have all that, you can have in a future time the possibility of making an automatic VAT return. Okay. Next slide, maybe, Maxime.
Sorry.
Okay. As another specificity, special aspect of the reform is the SIREN and SIRET number. Find this, you have this ID, if you want ID digits. The first is really the ID number of the company. And then a company can have different establishments, and each establishment will have a SIRET number. So in fact, this is specificity, and it makes sense because you have under that, you have also something like inside an establishment, what you call special code. You can go one step down. So we have something also which is ongoing process. It's an harmonization between the directory, the French directory, which we call the Annuaire Général, and the PayPal directory, SMP, SML. So delivery address country code, of course, essential for routing the determining tax rules. And also the type of transaction. In fact, these are, if you want, new mention that you have now to put on the invoice starting in September. The exact delivery address, the type of activity. Are you selling goods? Are you selling service? Are you selling both? Because there are special tax rules, okay? So we have to know exactly for each invoice, is it a service, is it a good, is it something mixed? Okay, then the option of the VAT payment, that's also a special mention which we can find in September on the invoice. It's mandatory also. Why? Because it's also a special tax rule for VAT payment, okay? Especially if you are, of course, you have services and you put that on your invoice, it means that you will pay, not when you are paid, you will pay the VAT to the tax authority when you issue the invoice. So, and the payment data also are important for this exact calculation of the VAT collected and the VAT deduct possibility, okay? So that's specificity in France. Next slide.
Wait, sorry.
The actors. Yeah, we have in fact what we call a Y model. And why a Y model? Because you have the tax authority, which is in the middle, which will receive flow. In fact, an extraction of the invoice and all the e-reporting we are just talking about, and also the status of the invoices. So the main actor is, of course, are the platform agréé, the accredited platforms. So we have around, let's say, 144, I think, platforms, and it's not finished, absolutely not finished. And we have, of course, the central place of the public platform. So sometimes we call him now the concentrator. And of course, the tax authority will be the center of the reception of all the status information, the e-reporting, and a flow one, which is not the whole invoice. In this Y model, in fact, the whole invoice, the invoice, in fact, what we call the flow two, will never go to the tax authority. It's only a flow, what we call the flow one, which is a sample, an extraction of the flow two. Then after that, you have other, of course, service provider that we call solution compatible, SC. See? And this entity, in fact, are not allowed to for example, to send an invoice to the company. So they have they can work with the companies, but they have to transmit the data, the invoice, to a PA, okay? So they are very important, and they are also very numerous. For example...
Lucien, I interrupt you, sorry, 2 seconds. So Storecove is working mainly with software providers. Yeah. So if you are in this case working with us, you become automatically solution compatible.
Exactly. That is very important. If you are an editor, if you are integrator, you have a possibility to make a partnership with Storecove very easily. So of course you have the DGFIP, which is the French tax authority. Okay. Next slide, maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah, here you have an image coming from the external specification, which gives you an idea of the of the flow and of the status of an invoice. So in fact, you see that you have 4 mandatory status. In fact, just a little error, but we will correct that.
It should be
you
red
have submitted, rejected, paid, payment, and refused also. So in fact, the supplier, of course, will submit his invoice. The buyer can reject it, or the buyer can also refuse it. It's not the same, for example, for technical grounds, for functional grounds, he can make a rejection, but he can also refuse an invoice when he thinks it's something is really wrong in the I would say in the invoice is not concerned, for example. And of course, what is important, we told also, is the payment, because that's very important for the services, especially because when you have a service, you have to pay to pay to the tax authority the collection of the VAT when you get the payment. Okay, and you can, on the other side, the buyer can only deduct when he has paid. So that will be very closely under the I would say the big brother eye of this Y model. Huh? Next slide. Yeah. So we have also specifically some like in other countries, but a little bit different. For example, the retention period in France, it's between 6 and 10 years. Huh? You can make an audit control with the tax authority if you want the year 26, for example, and then the three other years. But you can go to the data 6 years, and when there are some difficulties or fraud, you can go 10 years back. And you have also, I start with the retention period. In the middle, you have what they call the audit trail, what we call in France la piste d'audit fiable. That comes from a European directive, 2010, Euro 45. And in fact, it was transposed in France in 2013. And this introduced a mandatory requirement, which is create a documentation of your reliable audit trail in order to prove that your activity or the business is a real business and is in link with the invoice. So it's not only the link between an invoice and an accountant system, it's really the link between an economic operation and the invoice. So you have to archive also a lot of data and to set up business controls. Okay, so of course we could add that we are in a great trend also with VIDA on the horizon 2030. And the evolution, the first point of the storage, in fact, in France, the storage is very important, not only for the companies, but also for the auditors. So now we have really the volunteer in France to be sure that all the companies will store. And the importance is here also with the platforms, because a lot of data now will flow through the platforms, and the platforms sometimes offer service of archiving, service of completely making a complementation of the audit trail, etc., etc.
And just for your information, Storecove does have this option of legal archiving if you want.
Yeah, I think I see a question. The status of payment required in case of services if you pay VAT. Yeah. I would say yes, of course, but not only. You have also what we call a deposit. Imagine that you have a deposit. It's an answer of Jeffrey Bake. I see that payment statement. So of course it's belonging to the services, but also to the goods, for example, with the deposit, what you call in French, une facture d'acompte. Imagine that you are selling goods, but that you are issuing an invoice for a deposit. It's mandatory to issue an invoice for each deposit, okay? And the deposit, the rule of the collection of the VAT is also the payment. So you have to know with the statute, is this invoice paid or not? Okay. Yeah, maybe we can go
with the use cases.
Yes, now the use cases. That's very, very important also in France. In fact, what was the idea behind that? The idea behind that was to help all the platforms to have an harmonized way of standardization, I would say, of working with different kind of situation. Okay, so some use cases are very common, very, very common. For example, deposit or something like that. Other use cases are very seldom. So you can have a use case which concerns 2 or 3 companies in France, okay? And on the other hand, you have use cases which are really concerning each company. So in fact, Storecove is able to handle with, I would say, all the use case except 1 or 2 which are not for the moment in the scope and which are very, very seldom. But you have also, it's something specific because it has been a huge work. In French, we create with the AFNOR, the FNFE, which is a forum of the invoicing in France. And the president is Cyril Sautreau. They have issued a normalization document with all the use cases. Okay, and this work, this is important for the platform in order to know how to handle exactly. So if we go, for example, in the, let's see one, go the next slide. Yes, okay, this one, this now before. 2024. Yeah, okay. You see here the 24. You see a name which is maybe not well known in outside of France. It's R, A, 2R, H, ES, R en français. And this is a specificity. For example, it's a different kind of deposit. You see, for example, it comes from the civil code and it's Article 1590. And in fact, when you pay a deposit, okay, you, for example, to an hotel keeper, you can say, I will make a booking, okay, for a room, for example. And you pay this special deposit called R. Okay, you have the possibility to cancel the booking. If you cancel the booking, the deposit will be property will be kept by the in owner. I would say the hotel owner. On the other hand, the hotel owner can also cancel the booking, but he has then to pay the double amount of the R. Okay, that's, you see, it's really very specific. Comes from Napoleon Bonaparte, very French. So you can put that in comparison with the 21, you see, 2021, where you say that you have a prepayment, but the prepayment here is meant by a deposit. Okay, so there are different situations and different rules. So all these use cases belong to specificity. Okay. And that's it for the use case. I will not go to in each kind of use case because it's too long. Maybe we'll do another webinar specifically for that.
And just, sorry, Lucien,
yeah,
Storecove handles all the use case except to the 38 and 39, which are very rare.
Very seldom. Okay. Yeah. Okay, then of course you have penalties, fees to pay when you are not compliant. Of course, you have first to pay 50 euros per invoice if you do not send the invoice, and then you can have a cap on a huge amount. In fact, the tax authority have upgraded this fine and this amount in order to make it clear that now the reform is no more optional, and they make a lot of communication about that. But on the other hand, they told us also in the last meeting in Paris that they will make it with pedagogy, with communication. They will first send mail to the company asking for explanation, and so the volunteer is not to make penalties to earn money with the companies which are not directly clear and ready, but we have prepared something which is gradual, as you see, with possibility to go very high. And that's only the situation for the tax authority fees, because after you have all those other fees, if you are frauder, it's much more. Okay. Next slide, maybe.
So Lucien, I think what we will do now, I will explain a bit about Storecove very quickly, and then I see there are a lot of questions in the chat, so I will keep some time at the end with you to answer all these questions. So just to come back to how the Storecove solution works. So you send us a set of data in JSON, and then we are an API first. That's what I explained before. So we just need from you a set of data in JSON, and then we do the rest. So we transform to the right format, we transmit it, we take care of the compliance, etc., etc. Maybe so as I said earlier, also is the interesting about Storecove is that we cover a lot of different countries, which means that if you make the integration with our API in your software or in your ERP, you will have access to all of these countries, and not only for the e-invoicing, but as well for what we call the CTC mandate, so country continuous tax control. So basically the e-reporting we discussed. And so that's also a big thing that when you work with Storecove is you make one integration and you have access to all of this country, and you're compliant with all of this country. So I wanted to speak about the technical. Okay, I'm talking to software providers because they are mainly our customers, but you have many different challenges for you with this type of reform, and you need to think about the first challenge is do you build this? Because of course you can do that, but and compliance is non-negotiable, but building it yourself doesn't really add value to your product. So it's maybe good to rely on companies like Storecove. Then what is for sure that the compliance is let's call it a living product. It's not one and done project. It evolves all the time. So for instance, in France, Lucien, I think you can confirm, probably the French tax authority will do updates, rules will change, some rules will change, etc., etc. So having this for all the countries is also something very interesting. Then you have plenty, and another challenge is that you have plenty of formats, okay? In France, we didn't mention them, but you have FactureX, UBL 2.1, CII, and in Germany it will be another format, in Spain it will be another format, etc., etc. So we manage all this, okay? So here is your system, the invisible layer of Storecove. You send us the data in JSON, we transform in the right format, we through the network that is required in the country, and also to the tax authority when it's needed, okay? Then also, and I think that's very interesting now for the French reform, is the time to market and the commercial risk. So it's a real challenge for you because the clock is ticking, and customer probably are already asking you if you are ready for France, and if you are running late, this can be a real issue. And so we make integration easy, so that's important to know that. I will show you, okay, of course, we manage sending and receiving in the other way around. And yes, I wanted to show you, to conclude this scheme of how we manage connectivity. So to conclude on Storecove, because I know also a lot of you want to hear Lucien answer the questions. So Storecove is, you have one single API, so you integrate once. So you unlock France today, but tomorrow maybe you will need Belgium or Spain or Germany or other countries. We take care of the format management, so you don't need to code FactureX or UBL. You just send us the raw data, and we handle the translation and compliance. Also, we discussed about the automated life cycle. So in France, we track the statut that Lucien discussed about, déposer, rejeter, refuser, encaisser, and we push it straight back to your ERP via webhook. And then, of course, we mentioned it as well, we are able to manage the archiving, and basically the faster go live, also the fact that you don't need 3 to 6 months to integrate is a key point. And usually it takes between 1 week and 5 weeks max to integrate our solution in your ERP, in your software. So for that, we can open you a sandbox test environment. It's free, and it's no engagement, valid for 30 days. So do not hesitate to ask us if you need. So maybe now we will take some questions. I'm looking in the chat. Lucien, are you seeing the chat as well?
Yes. I think I have still answered a question concerning the status of payment.
Maybe let's take this from Jeffrey.
Yeah, this was of Jeffrey. Then after I have not archiving, would it be possible from September to send e-invoice from outside? That's a question from Arnaud. Would it be possible from September to send e-invoices from outside of France to French client? Yes, of course. In fact, it's what we call, in fact, e-reporting. For example, you are a German supplier, and you are sending an invoice to a French company. Typically, it will be considered as an e-reporting, and the French company has done with the help of the platform Agréé to send to the tax authority the e-reporting, which is let's say a file, an XML file with a sample of data concerning this invoice. Okay, and how would this work? It would work like that, and the payment and the VAT. In this case, you have no VAT. It's a reverse charge system. So no payment. No, it's no payment with the VAT. It's a VAT. It's under. That would be a reverse charge system, for example. What kind of other question? When will we have a view of how to handle? That's Gregory. All use cases with the API. In fact, you can use for the one who want to work with Storecove, we have a sandbox, and then we can see with you which are the use case that you need, which are the use case that you are concerned, and then we can test it in a sandbox.
Yeah, everything can be tested in the sandbox. You have all the documentation in the API. Exactly. You can find it on already on our website, but also you can
absolutely.
You can ask us to open a sandbox and
absolutely. I don't know if there were other questions, because now I don't know if you have other questions. I want to
let's
have to answer.
I'm trying.
Ask a lot of help from some. Anyway, if you need help, I'm available. I can also act as a consultant, especially to help you to make an audit, a flash audit of your system, and to see what you have to do to prepare to this reform, and to work, of course, with Storecove. So don't hesitate to contact Maxime or to contact me, and then we can have a meet if you need. You cannot say everything in a webinar, but of course, I imagine that you have specific problems sometimes, so it's better to set up.
Maybe let's pick up more another question. I was having a look. This maybe Lucien, I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
Our company in France is a small size company, but the mother company is a large sized company. Could you please clarify if it is the mother company that is relevant when looking at the size, or if it is the actual entity in France?
In fact, each entity has its own situation. If you belong to a group, okay, and with large companies, medium companies, and small companies, what is important is the turnover, first the turnover of each entity, fiscal entity. So we're speaking of fiscal entities. And then after, for the companies, you can also take in account the asset. It means if you have a small turnover, but a very large of billions balance sheet assets, you can also be considered as a large company. And also the employee you have, the number of employee. So in fact, if you say that you are a small company, you are probably concerned in September. But each case can be detailed, but we have to collect all the data, see exactly if you are not in an exception, still a group option for one balance sheet, etc. So better to have all the component of the question, and then make an analysis case by case.
Okay, maybe we have some minutes left, so I will take another question. Are all B2B domestic invoices in scope of e-invoicing? Are, for instance, import invoices with no VAT included?
Yes, the importation, it means when you have an invoice coming from a third country, so not from EU, for example, from the USA or from Switzerland, and you make this importation, or from China, it will be concerned as an e-reporting. Okay. But when you make a sending to a third country, it's an exportation that's outside of the perimeter of the reform, because this information will flow to the tax authorities through the customs. Okay, but concerning the European inner market, both the flow inside France and outside are in EU are in the scope of the e-reporting.
Okay, so I don't know if we answered this partly. I understand that invoicing requirements are B2B domestic. There are some advantages in using this also exchange with B2B customers and invoice. Do you see any big hurdles to exchange invoices globally, worldwide, using PayPal? Formats differ. Yes, we answered part of it.
Yes. What Maxime said, it's specific. What is a big asset of Storecove is that you have, I would say, a universal API. So you win a lot of time. If you have to send invoice, e-invoicing, you want to make e-invoicing not only in France, but also Indonesia, in the States, everywhere. You have the same API. You will use the same API. So you will not
you don't have to make integration each time.
Yes, it will be very fast. So that's one of the really big bonus and asset of Storecove.
And just to conclude, I think we are almost on time. Just to conclude, I mean, these changes, this reform, you must see it as an opportunity, because like I said, the time is clicking, and you know, the people, especially if you are a software provider or an ERP provider, usually people don't move easily. But here we are talking about invoicing, so we are talking about money, about cash flows. So if your solution is not ready for September in France, your customer might take the decision to change software. Maybe something he was considering for a long time, but he didn't move before because, it's not an easy task. But this could be very impactful. So here you have an opportunity to be. Yes.
Sorry, you wanted to say also that you have the pilot. So
yes, okay. I didn't mention that. Very important. Thanks, Lucien, for remembering me this. So there is in France a pilot phase. So before September, you can use the solution in real. So by sending real invoices or receiving real invoicing, you need to be okay with your customer. But if you are a Storecove customer, we can write you in the list of customer of us that's in the pilot phase, and then you can test live. So I hardly recommend to do that, because of course there will for sure be some small issues, and it's better to be ready before September than to discover this in September. Okay,
it's a possibility that is allowed to test before September in a real situation without any risk, because the tax authority will not put you fees or penalties if you want, if you make a little error. It's the aim is to make really a real situation testing. So what
Absolutely.
Maxime told you, it's very interesting opportunity for the companies.
Okay. So now we are in 3 seconds at 45 minutes now. So we are perfectly on time. I conclude thanking all of you to participate to this webinar. If you have questions, you can ask to me without problems. Lucien, if you are interested to get in touch with Lucien as well. And to conclude, I just wanted to say that we have a special marketing campaign running from now. I think my colleague can confirm it. And for France, for each new contract, we will offer a bottle of champagne Runa, which is the best champagne. So do not hesitate. This is a little incentive to know more about Storecove. Okay, so I think we can close this webinar, and so please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you, Lucien, for your time.
Thanks, and au revoir à tous et à toutes.